Hello my lovelies and welcome back to my channel. This week we're going to be sewing together the iris from a Quaint stitch. We've done before a Quaint stitch pattern. We've done the Wayfarer sling, which was super popular and thoroughly enjoyed and loved by many of you. So I'm very honored to be sewing along the free iris crossbody. If you know me, you know I'm a huge fan of crossbody. I wear them daily and I wear them at the parks as well. So for me this was like a no-brainer. As soon as it was suggested to be done as a sew-along, I was sold immediately on it. I'm surprised I haven't seen this already. It's been out for about 2 years now, maybe a year and a half, and I have not seen it yet. So I'm very happy to be here sewing this beautiful crossbody. It's a mini one. It's fairly easy. It's definitely a beginner friendly pattern, and I'm happy to sew it with you. It's also a bittersweet moment as this marks the end of me doing sew-alongs with Backstitch Prints, as Backstitch Prints is currently closing. This is a final hurrah, final goodbye. Obviously I'm going to be using Backstitch Prints vinyl for the sew-along, and I do highly encourage you to check out their last pre-order that's happening right now. Everything that I'm mentioning right now will be linked in the description, so all you have to do is click in the link and you can go shop your pre-order. The quality and the work put into the Backstitch Prints is unparalleled. The quality of the vinyls is the best I've ever worked with, and I don't say that easily. So make sure I do stand by the quality, not just the look and feel of this, but the quality of the vinyls from Backstitch Prints. So make sure you take advantage of this final pre-order happening right now, and also join me into sewing this beautiful crossbody bag. We'll be splitting the sew-along in 5 days, just like we've always done. Day 1 is reserved for printing the pattern pieces, cutting the vinyl, the interfacing, fusing them together, all the prep work, so we can get started sewing tomorrow. Then we'll sew tomorrow the pocket and the flap. Then we'll sew together the next day the front, then the back, and on the final day we'll put everything together and enjoy the fruits of our labor. So make sure you do check in the Backstitch backroom if you want to have a chance of the prizes. We'll have a gift card from Backstitch Prints. We'll also have a pattern of choice from a Quaint stitch. So if you're interested in earning an entry for that random drawing that I'll be doing next Monday, so July 15, make sure you join the Backstitch backroom to get your entry there. Without further ado, let's get to cutting, and I will see you here in a second. The pattern does come with an A0 format if you would like to print it in a copy shop. It also comes with the A4/letter format. It also comes with a projector file, so you can definitely pick your preferred method of cutting your pattern pieces. I chose to just print them on my printer, and because I prefer that for bag. When I make my clothes, I do prefer using a projector, but for bags I like to have them printed. It's just force of habit, probably. Nothing wrong with doing it either way. This is also a fantastic scrap buster project. It's amazing. So I'm going to be using about a half a roll for this. I'll do mine monochromatic, but you can definitely mix and match prints because it includes color block pieces. So if you have scraps from a collection that you like, this would be a great scrap buster. For the lining, I'm using water resistant canvas. Again, as you can see, it's just scraps that I gathered from my closet. And the only thing that I'm going to be doing differently is doing the strap, because I want to show you how to do the crossbody strap, but you can also use pre-made ones or webbing. We'll get to that when we talk about the strap. So let's start by cutting the pattern pieces. I like to do one medium at a time, so I'm going to cut first all my main pieces that are done with the vinyl. Then I'm going to cut the lining, and then we'll move on to the decoupage, and then we'll fuse them. So again, this is about half a roll of 18 inch, so you have an idea. And we'll start with the bottom panel. We'll need 2 of those. I've pre-measured this somewhat just to make sure this cut will be enough. And I do think it will be. Hopefully I won't have a surprise right now. It's a small crossbody bag. And again, great for a scrap, great as a scrap buster for all those vinyls you've been saving. You can make this pattern out of cotton woven as well, or canvas, or water resistant canvas. You can use cork. It's pretty versatile. But I always encourage you to choose the fabric or the medium you're using based on the sewing machine you have. So don't go for heavy vinyl, thick vinyl if you're using a domestic machine. Go for maybe a canvas, a thicker canvas, or if you want like a lightweight bag, go for cotton woven, but make sure you interface it. So again, choose the medium first and foremost based on your machine and then based on your preference. Next up we have the front center. So you can see the front has again 3 pieces, a bottom and 3 medium center. So definitely great for color blocking. When you do the side panel, make sure that you mirror, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. So this is one side, but then you need the other side opposite. So flip your pattern piece like that on one side. So you should have 2 of these side panels. Then you'll have a center panel. This would be great for using like a panel, a vinyl panel or a woven panel that has the graphic relatively small, because this is a relatively small center. So the graphic would need to be kind of a 3x3, no more than 3x3 for the graphic. Okay, then this was done with the front. Now we have the back. The back has a middle and a top, because the bottom we already cut it when we did the first piece. Only one of those. Then you need the top. Okay, and then we'll need the flap, which is one exterior. Okay, and from the main, I will also need the well, from the main you also need the strap. You have the measurements in this little cheat sheet here, but I'm going to use a different fabric because I don't have enough. I would have loved to make it, but I didn't have enough, so I'll use just a different red, a glitter red. But I do need the anchor. So for the anchor you have 2 options in the pattern. You have the fabric option, which you'll follow the instruction if you're using cotton woven or canvas. I'm not going to. You also have this vinyl piece that will have raw edges. So what I like to do, I'm guesstimating about 2 pieces like this. Okay, so for now I'm just roughly cutting 2 rectangles that I'm going to prep later. So for now we'll just leave this aside. Make sure that the 2 rectangles you're cutting are big enough to fit 2 of these. Okay, and we'll prep that in a little bit. So as you can see, from half a roll I have a little bit of a scrap left, but not enough to make the strap. So let's make the strap out of this. And I do know my measurement for a crossbody, so this should be enough. Usually I do width of fabric. This might be a slightly less than width of fabric, but it's okay. Because I pretty much just want to make this to show you how to sew it. I'll most likely, when I wear the bag, I'll most likely be using a chain. I've gotten used to using like the chains. Okay, so this is a little less than the width of fabric, but it's okay. Again, if the crossbody strap should depend on your preferred comfort and your size. For a smaller size, it will obviously need to be smaller. For larger sizes, it will need to be a little bit longer just to sit comfortably across your body. Okay, so those are done from the main. I have the interfacing here. Now for the lining, we have 2 pieces. One is the inside of the bag, the lining, and I will not be cutting any interfacing for this because I'm using waterproof canvas that is very thick. I definitely do not need any interfacing on this. So I just folded my canvas in 2 so I can cut 2 at the same time. If you're using cotton woven, I highly encourage you to interface it with at least cotton interfacing, like an SF101 type of interfacing. Okay, so we have 2 of these, and we also need our flap. Hopefully this will be enough. If not, we'll have to play a game with the flap, because I totally forgot about it. I'll need to use probably a different material. I'm missing a corner. This is so unfair. There's no way. There's no way to get this right. Unless I play with the seam allowance, and I don't know if I want to play with the seam allowance, because if I put it like this and I have a little bit, I could play with the seam allowance, but I don't know. I'll think about it. Maybe I'll piece two of these together. Anyways, we do need the zipper lining, the zipper pocket, and that's cut on fold. I was so sure I had enough of this yellow one because I totally forgot about the flap. Or maybe I could do the flap in the main fabric. That would be nice, because when I open it, it would show the main fabric. Let's see if I have enough of those. You know how we do these sew-alongs, right? Flying by the seat of our pants. Am I lucky? Let me see. Oh. Yes, so my flap will have vinyl on the lining and the exterior, and all is good with the world now. So we're just gonna say I've intended for this to be the case from the beginning, right? This is meant to be fun. This is not meant to bring any stress. Okay, friends? Let's remember, sewing is meant to be fun and enjoyable. Alright, so last but not least, I need to go grab my Decovil light. For the lining, you can use Decovil light or foam. If you're using foam, so there's two lining pieces that you're going to be using. If you're using foam, you will cut the lining depending on the type of machine you have. So if you're using a domestic machine, you're going to be cutting the interfacing, sorry, not the lining, the interfacing along the inner part. See, if you look at the crossbody stabilizer, you have one piece that has two lines. So you'll decide which one. You don't need both, you need only one, but you decide which one. So if you're using an industrial machine and foam, you'll cut the outer one. If you're using a domestic machine, just to ease the hardship on the machine, you're going to be cutting the inner line. That's basically taking out the seam allowance so it doesn't stay and bulks up the fabric. Also, if you're using Decovil light like I am, you'll be cutting the inner line, and regardless of which machine you're using, it's going to lay much nicer if you're cutting on the inner line. So pretty much, if you're using an industrial machine or semi-industrial and foam, you'll be cutting the outside line. Anything else, you'll cut the inside line. This mention that I'm giving you right now, it's available in the pattern. So if you forget or you are making this again later on, just know that the designer does state in the pattern which one you should be using based on the materials and the machine you have. So I've removed this because I'm going to be cutting Decovil light, and I'll be right back with the Decovil. Alright, so I cut the Decovil light. I'm going to first, remember the anchor pieces we've made? I'm also going to cut a piece of Decovil light to put in between for extra stability. Okay, and I'll fuse that later. And now I'm going to cut the two pieces that you will be fusing later on after we sew the front and the back. One. Two. I get my Decovil light from Joann when they have those sales, and I order it by the bolt because I found price-wise it's the cheapest option if I get it like that, and then I don't have to worry. I have it on hand most of the time. Okay, and we also need one for the flap. I think we are all set as far as cutting goes. So I'm going to go ahead and fuse only two pieces for now of this stabilizer. I'm going to fuse the crossbody to the main of the flap, and you can see it has a seam allowance already reduced. So I'm going to go ahead and fuse this with my press, with my heat press, and I'm also going to fuse this little piece, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how to cut the connector for that piece. Alright, so I have fused the Decovil to the flap, to the main of the flap. Now let's go ahead and prep the connectors. So I have one side that I fused some Decovil on, and then the other one. And I'm going to, you can use, if you have, but I don't have any, some spray adhesive for vinyl. I don't have any, so I'm going to just add some random strips of double-sided tape. This is the one from Wawak, so it needs cutting with the scissors, but it does hold very well, so it's a trade-off. I have to cut it, it's not like you cannot tear it, but it holds really well. So I'm adding a few strips to hold it in place. Okay, and then I'm going to place wrong sides together, the other piece. Okay, so now I know they're both stuck together. Take your connector piece and let me just snip here so I can put my marking easily where you have your grommets marking, and I'm going to draw around them. If you have a Cricut, you could cut these pieces with a Cricut. If you don't want to create your own connectors, you can definitely use like pre-made connectors or metallic connectors too. And you're going to draw two of them. It takes me a lot longer to set up my Cricut, to cut with it, put it back than it does to just simply draw and cut by hand. But I do know with the Cricut, they look a lot more like straight. But it's okay. We work with what we have and it's gonna be okay. So now I'm just going to cut around through all the layers at the same time. This will ensure that my pieces are the same size. Because as much as you would try to cut two and put them two together, they will never be exactly the same. And if you're edge coating, you will want to make sure that the edges are exactly the same. I don't think I'm going to be edge coating this. But you can definitely do that. You have time until we have to, it's like this is one of the last steps, so if you edge coat it today, you can definitely have it dried by the time we do the last steps. I don't know, I might. I'll think about it. There's a little thing here that annoys me. Okay, so this is one. And then the second one. And after this I'm going to mark the not grommets, the rivets, the rivet holes. There you go. So this is done. Again, you can edge coat this if you want. Now this is staying together only with the double-sided tape or the glue in your case. it's not enough. So what you need to do is take this to the sewing machine and sew about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge a stitch to hold it in place. I highly encourage you to do that. Don't rely just on the glue and edge coating. So I'm going to do that in a little bit. But before I do that, let me just mark this. The grommets. These are the grommets marked, so you'll be going and sewing it with your sewing machine. Let's go ahead and do a run through of all the pattern pieces that we have to make sure we all have everything we need before we start sewing. So you should have a flap that is a main with interfacing and lining. In my case, the lining is the same as the main. You'll also need to mark your little snap, the snap placement. You need to mark this on the lining piece. So in my case, it will be the vinyl without the bobbin. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay. You will need a zipper pocket lining, 2 linings of the for the inside of the bag, and you'll also need your front and back. So for the back, you have a top, a middle, and a bottom. So you should have 3 pieces for the back. For the front, you should have a bottom, a center, and 2 side panels. So as you can see, plenty of color blocking opportunities between the front and the back. So the back has 3 pieces, the front has 2 pieces, well 4 technically, a bottom, a center, and a side. And we'll interface this after we put them together. So you should also have your interfacing for them. You'll have your 2 connectors that we just worked on. You'll need a zipper for the inside pocket with a zipper pull. Optionally, you can have some strap ends for your strap. Obviously, we'll also need the strap piece, and you can either make it out of vinyl, you can use pre-made webbing, easy peasy, or the easiest option, you can use chains. And this is one of my favorite chains that I'm using on a lot of my black hardware bags. It's long enough to be a crossbody, but I also like lately to add 2 chains. I also have a short chain, and I tend to add both of them, and I'll show you on the last day. And this is good for like holding it on the hand, the bag. It's a very short one. This is probably like 14 inches long, so I like that. You'll also need hardware for the connectors, a D-ring, well 2 D-rings for the connector. I love this black matte lately, I don't know why, it's like one of my favorite finishes. I just don't have a chain in it yet, but I'll buy one and it's easy to change. So I have a 1-inch D-ring for the connector. Then I have the strap ends, again optional if you create a strap. I have 2 matte black swivel clasps for the strap, and I also have a slider in matte black. These are all from, I think, Temu or Amazon. They're like super inexpensive. You will also need a set of snaps for the closure of the bag. I don't have any black or gunmetal in my house, so I'm just using silver one. Nobody can see it anyways. You'll need a tag if you want to add it. I tend to add the tag on the front, but I'm also going to add one on the lining, because I got some cute ones also from Timo, I think. Oh, I thought I had one here. It was a cute, oh, there it is. It's like a cute handmade one. And I'm going to add that inside. And you'll also need rivets. I have some black matte rivets. And I think you should be good. So for the prep, you can stop here and just snap a photo and post it, or you can continue the prep, and you'll do the strap on the last day. I tend to do my straps on the last day with the assembly, because it's just force of habit. Or if you're actually adding a chain, you will not have that step at all. So if you want, you can definitely go ahead and stop here, snap a photo of your beautiful pattern pieces ready and waiting for the sewing day, and we can go ahead and start sewing tomorrow. So you don't have to, if you don't want to on day one, to create your strap or sew your connectors, because I know I said we're sewing pretty much starting day 2. So it's up to you. We're super flexible here. We're doing this for fun and for some prizes and to just spend time together and enjoy a new bag. So thank you so much for joining me on day 1. I will stop day 1 here, and I will see you back here tomorrow when we will be sewing the pocket, the inside pocket on the lining, and we'll also be creating the flap. So I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye!